wonderful bit of singing, Juan Diego Flores performing Una Furtiva Lagrima. You're listening to Winnipeg's Classic 107. My name is Simon Rusnak. Manitoba Opera has just recently announced their 2024-25 season, featuring 2 return productions. The operas present plenty of memorable tunes, moving characters, and a dynamic cast of local, national, and internationally renowned talents. To tell us more, Manitoba Opera General Director and CEO Larry DeRoche has joined me in studio. Welcome here, Larry.
Good morning, Simon. Thanks for having me.
Well, always wonderful to have you, especially this time of the year. You know, as an attendee, as an audience member, it is an exciting time. We are in the midst of season announcements. I'm curious, how does it feel for you? Do you have that same level of excitement? Is it a relief? How do you feel?
Well, new seasons blossom in the spring, Simon, and so everyone is doing their announcements, and we were happy to get our season announcement out last week, I think.
Yeah.
Elixir of Love and La Bohème next year, so we're looking forward to it.
That's just it. The wait is over. How would you characterize this pairing of Donizetti's Elixir of Love and Puccini's La Bohème for the 2024-25 season?
Well, you know, for folks that know those pieces, maybe Elixir is a little less well known, but you played the great aria there on the intro. Beautiful music, lots of tunes to it. So Elixir is a comedy, La Bohème a bit of a tragedy. So a really good balance to the season. And, you know, I kind of think for our patron base, it's going to like the sort of first real big season of opera coming back after the pandemic. Mm-hmm. We did Così and La Cenerentola, which we would normally do last year, but in manageable productions, just in case the pandemic was still playing havoc with us. And then, of course, the new opera last fall, great big undertaking, just a kind of wonderful experience with Elixir and Carmen. So it's an arc that we try to build all the time.
That inspiring production of Elixir, like you say, I mean, it's not every day, not every year that Manitoba Opera is doing a world premiere, a history-making, Indigenous-led world premiere. And as an audience member, I was very curious to see where you would go next, because, I mean, you've set the bar so high. And let's talk more about Elixir of Love, because this is an elixir that was last poured out almost 2 decades ago. Yeah. Can you tell us more about what to expect in this production?
Well, you know, we were really trying to find something to have Adriana Churchman back with us. And we talked with her about different projects over the last few years and everything. And, you know, with what we program and Adriana's schedule, it's you know, you have to land in the sweet spot. And so Elixir was that. So it's really to have an opportunity to have Adriana perform this role that she debuted at the Met. I can't remember, like maybe 2012 or 13 or something like that. And so building the production around her.
Yeah, like you say, I mean, this is just a hometown hero back up on the Manitoba Opera stage, singing the role of Adina and a role that she debuted at the Met, filling in for Anna Netrebko. Yeah. And here she is, this world-class singer who makes her home here in Winnipeg, and what an opportunity to hear her again. There's also a couple of American singers. Tenor Jonah Hoskins performs Nemorino and that great romanza, that aria Una Furtiva Lagrima that we just heard. Baritone Jarrell Williams, Canadian baritone Peter McGilvery coming back to town. Should be a great show. And then from there, we move to the more tragic side of things, a work that needs little introduction, Puccini's ever-popular La Bohème, one of the major works in the canon. What do you think it is about this opera that has given its longevity?
Well, you know, you were playing Prokofiev's Romeo and Juliet before, and I think after Romeo and Juliet, Mimi and Rodolfo are the romantic heroes of the opera world. Maybe Tristan and Isolde too, but right?
Yeah.
So they are the romantic icons, and you know, that's what brings it back. It's just a beautiful story. Obviously, it's beautiful music. Puccini's music is so accessible in that, and you know, it's fun with 4 guys goofing around in that too, the Bohemians, if you will. But yeah, it's Puccini's music that keeps bringing people back, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it just continues to tug at the heartstrings and play in the minds of you know, opera lovers. And I think one of the things too that has really struck me about this season is there are those who have been going to opera for a long time, but those who are maybe considering going to opera for the first time, maybe they just took in Elixir and they thought, you know, this was a cool experience, I want to be part of this. You've given them a wonderful kind of trio of performances to follow up, because of course we can't not mention that Carmen is just around the corner. Yeah. And then from there, Elixir of Love, and then Puccini's La Bohème. I mean, this is a real inroads for people to just kind of give opera a try, right?
Entirely. Carmen was the production that was shut down, unfortunately. We were talking the other day, about when it shut down. Oh, we'll bring it back in the fall, talking to the cast and that, right?
Yeah, here we are.
So here we are
2024.
40 years later. But still, it's going to hit the boards in a couple of weeks. And yeah, even if you don't think you know Carmen, you basically know every piece of music in Carmen. So very accessible. And just building off of that with Elixir, again, you might not know every piece in it, but it's so tuneful. It's very funny. You mentioned Peter McGilvery. Peter's going to sing Dr. Dulcamara, and so he was the father in La Cenerentola, and he's
great.
Just a comic genius, right?
His timing's excellent.
So that's just really going to be a fun show. And then sort of capping off that trio, as you say, with La Bohème, I think it's going to be a great run for our audiences.
And let's not forget the famous adaptation. I mean, if you liked Rent,
why
Rent, not check out Bohème? Because
check out the real thing.
Yeah, exactly. The story will be very, very familiar to you. Again, Carmen just around the corner, April 13th, 17th, 19th. We're looking ahead to the 2024-25 season. We are so fortunate to have an outstanding company in Manitoba Opera here in town. And while I've got you in studio, Larry, I'm wondering if we can speak a little bit more to solidifying the organization's future through the Power of Voice Endowment campaign. What's the goal, and what are you hoping to achieve through this campaign?
Certainly. So the Power of Voice Endowment campaign, it's a campaign. Our endowment is held at the Winnipeg Foundation, which manages it. So it's a fund that exists in perpetuity. And if you think of annual giving and ticket sales and grants annually, it's like filling up the gas tank, and you hope you don't run out of gas before you get to the end of the season. An endowment campaign is like renewable energy. It's there. Once it's established, it's going to contribute to the operations in perpetuity. So that's going to help us do, maybe more new works like Liqueur. It's certainly going to help us maybe build new productions, co-productions, continue a robust community engagement program, and maybe provide a little bit of buffer when things get a little bit rough from, pandemics or whatever else is going to hit us that we don't really know. So we're going to raise somewhere between $5 and $6 million from the private sector. And then that's matched with the Canadian Heritage Program, probably somewhere around 50 cents on the dollar, 50 to 65 cents. It depends. So every gift, so if you give $1, it's going to turn into $1.50 right away, and that's going to help the opera company.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about solidifying that future, right? And making sure that everyone can continue to enjoy opera in all sorts of different ways and guises and new works and hallowed favorites like, we're set to experience in just the coming weeks. Again, no gift I don't think is too small. You can learn more at mbopera.ca. Plus, you can scoop up some tickets to Carmen just around the corner. Very exciting about that. And Larry, I want to thank you so much for telling us a little bit more about the upcoming season and chatting more about all things Manitoba Opera.
Well, thanks. It's always fun to chat, Simon. And we got a good season coming up and Carmen coming up, so hope folks come out.
Yeah, see you at the concert hall.
Yeah, great.